So today I want to know once and for all which one of these two are better because they're at a similar price range with the Hoover Clean Slate and the Bissell Little Green. We're going to do some tests on the carpet here with the flour and the pomegranate juice. So we're going to see how well it removes the stain, but also how well it dries it. And we'll start with the flour first. So as you saw, I left a line in the middle on purpose to kind of see which side is which. This is the Bissell, this is the Hoover, and you can see a little bit of a white streak here. The Hoover is definitely not as good when it comes to the dry stuff on the carpet. I could still feel a little bit of it if I try. Yes, there's definitely a little bit of white flour here, whereas with the Bissell, I don't feel anything. So I think definitely the Bissell is better in that department. Next, we'll see the pomegranate juice here. For the pomegranate juice, I'm not sure there's really much difference. There is, maybe the Hoover is a little bit better, but as you can see, they both are still stained. They're still both pretty wet, so we're going to move on to the next stage because it's a little bit of a tie, and we're going to go over with water on both sides. They each have their own solution in the tank, so we want to see which one does best with the stain. So it's both around 30 seconds for each. As you'll see, there's still kind of a stain here, and both are wet a bit. But you'll see that they're both stains are still a little bit there, but I might say the little Hoover is a bit lighter. But also, because the Hoover covers such a large area, the nozzle also has better suction. It's able to achieve the same effect with less time. If you feel both of them, I think that the Hoover is drier out of the two. So we're going to see in the next stage how long it takes to completely dry the areas. So we'll see how both of them do. But for the stain remover, I think the Hoover has a slightly upper hand. They're now both completely dry, and I would definitely say the Hoover took a lot less time because it is so wide. I went over the exact same area multiple times, whereas with the Bissell, I had to go over in different section because it was too narrow. So I'm definitely going with the Hoover in this regard. Next, we'll move on to the tile here. We're going to see the same thing, but pay attention to the crease to see how much matter they suck up out of the crease and also how much flour they suck up. So let's do the flour first. So as you see, that side was the Bissell, this side is the Hoover, and they both do about the same. They left a bit of the flour inside the crease, but I wouldn't say that one has a distinct advantage over the other. So I guess it's a tie. Let's move on to the liquids here. So again, not too much of a big difference. They both left a little bit liquid inside the crease. This one got a little bit more liquid than the Bissell, so the Bissell might be a little bit worse, but overall they're basically a tie on this area. Next, we're going to move on to the functionalities and features and see what's different and what's the same. We'll start off with the call button. They both have the power button, only nothing else. There's one on the top here and there's one down here. They both have handles. They're both sturdy, pretty good. But they do have a difference in the dirty and water bin. This is the dirty bin. This is the much larger than the dirty bin here, but the clean bin is a bit small, especially compared to this. This might be half the size of that. Just be aware of that. Another big difference is the dirty bin. When you pull this off, none of the parts, they can't come out in order to clean it. You just have to pour water inside and slosh it around. Whereas the other water bin here, you take the whole thing out and you can also take the entire top off. So this is very convenient. You can actually get in there and use a scrub to scrub and really clean it well, whereas you can't with this one. So I think the big advantage goes to this one. Another part of the cleaning process is right here. We need to get down in that whole this area here is a much bigger area to clean. It's not too significant, but I would say that it's a bit of an advantage toward the Hoover there. And it's very easy to put it back in. Another big difference when cleaning is this part right here, the nozzle head. You can take the nozzle head right out from here and you can clean the hose that way and clean the tip that way as well. You put water in and slosh it around, but none of the parts are removable. So you might need to get this plastic off, but I've tried doing it and it feels like it might break. So not recommending do that. So it's a little bit inefficient to clean this. Whereas the Hoover, the advantage is that you can actually take the whole thing off very easily and you can clean here much more carefully and get out nice and get it really nice and clean. And the brush is also removable. So you can put it in the wash. You can very easily clean it. And with the hose, the Hoover definitely has the advantage. The last area you might have to clean is the hose itself, but the Hoover comes with a hose rinsing tool, which basically, you take this off and put that on and it'll spray all around in there in order to clean it. The Bissell also has the same tool, but I haven't been able to locate it. I think I lost it. So in that area, I think they're both around the same, but all in all, when it comes to cleaning, the Hoover is definitely in the lead. Other functions that it has is they both have the adjustable cable organizers on the back here, but I think this one's a little bit more sturdy, so you don't have to worry about this moving. This one's a little loose, so you might find that it moves on its own. So in this case, I give the edge to the Bissell, and right here, the hose organizer, basically it unravels around the lips here where you can put the hose around, and it comes down here as well. You wrap it all around and stick it into here, and it comes in with a very satisfying click, so you know it's not going to go anywhere if you kind of push it away, but most of the time it stays on versus the Bissell. It also has the same thing, but it's a little less shallow here, and it has a hose holder here, but you put it all the way around, you come up here and put this hose right in there, and it doesn't move. So that's actually a pretty good feature as well. And you can lock it in, and this thing's not coming out at any time soon. So for the locking mechanism, this is definitely better, I think, much better on the Bissell. So overall, to get into consideration of everything, I think I would say that I prefer the Hoover Clean Slate better because it has a little better suction. It's easier to clean. It has a wider nozzle as well, so you can get a lot more water and clean a lot faster. But the disadvantage is obviously the smaller clean water tank. This is basically double the size here. So if you want to get a lot of work done, you need a lot of clean water. Definitely the Bissell here is good value for what it does. It does all the areas included, but at the end of the day, the Hoover is a little bit better in all those categories. So I'll definitely recommend this over the Bissell.